Hi there, friends. Welcome to this gentle energizing flow. For this class, the only thing you might need are a couple of blocks. And if you like a blanket to fold and sit up on, you might want that here at the beginning of class. We'll just get started here in Sukhasana, an easy seat. So come down onto your seat, place that blanket underneath your sit bones if that feels good for you. Place your hands on top of your knees, close down your eyes, and let's start here with just 3 deep breaths. Maybe breathing in and out through your nose if that feels good for you. And we'll set an intention for this shorter practice today that simply states, I am energized. Sometimes when we are feeling sluggish or anxious or even overwhelmed, taking a pause for just a little bit of movement can help us set the tone for our day or reset the day. We'll pause here for a little bit of movement and see if we feel a little bit more energized. Last breath. Gently open your eyes. Get a super long spine. Ground down through those sit bones. Reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Inhale and sweep your arms up overhead. Your palms can touch. On your exhale, bring your right hand down and your left arm up and overhead into a side bend. Work to open your chest. Inhale the arms back up overhead. Exhale, take the left hand down, reach the right arm up and over. Stretch the right side body. Let's go to each side one more time. Inhaling, arms back up. Exhale, right hand down. Ground down through the left sit bone to get more length through the left side of the body as you open your chest towards the ceiling. Hands back up overhead. Exhale to the left last time here, side bend. We'll inhale it back up to center. You can bring your hands down through heart center. We'll forward fold over our legs. So just reach your hands out in front of you. And then if you'd like to come onto your forearms, you can. If that's not feeling good, you could always have your blocks out in front. This can always be used at any height. And then work to keep grounding those sit bones down into the mat. Just fold forward here for a few breaths, maybe feeling the outer hips here stretching. On your next inhale, let's realign the spine, stack it back up, and switch the cross in your legs. So now take that weird, awkward way that you never sit, and we'll fold forward again. So maybe feeling it on the other side now. This is always so awkward for me personally, switching the legs. Something so small, we're so used to sitting a certain way. Last breath here. We'll come back up to center, stack that spine again. You can scoot your props off to the side if you were using them for those forward folds. And then just bring your feet onto the mat. You can have them a little bit wider than hips distance. You can have your hands reaching behind you and just drop your knees side to side into little windshield wipers. Just go each side a few times. And then let's roll all the way down onto our back. So however is comfortable for you to get there. Once you get down on your back, hug your knees in towards your chest and take some knee stirs. So open your knees out wide to the sides and then circle them down, around, and back up through the center. Do a few rounds of this. It doesn't really matter which direction you go. We'll switch directions and go both ways. Opening up through the hips, whichever way you were going, switch. Go back the opposite way. One more circle. Knees come back to center. Place your feet down on the mat with bent knees. Have your feet about hips distance apart. You can take your right knee and hug it in towards the chest. Circle out that right ankle, going both directions. Maybe hearing lots of sounds. Mine are loud today. Wow. And then we'll cross this right ankle over the left thigh right above the knee. Flex through that right foot and resist that right knee out and away from your body. And we'll actually just stay here with this left foot planted. So take a few breaths, keep working on that sensation of that knee pressing away from the body without using your hands or anything to press against it. Release that right foot back down to the mat. Hug the left leg in. Circle out that left ankle. Both directions. I don't know if you can hear me with my microphone, but it's like a competition. All right, and then we'll cross that Left ankle over the right thigh. Same thing here. Resist that left knee out and away. You might notice a difference here between the two sides of your bodies. That's totally normal. Have imbalances through the openness in our hips. I certainly do. A couple of breaths. Release that left foot. Place the feet back where they were, so parallel, about hips distance. I like to have my heels about a hand's distance away from my hips. Let's take some gentle bridge roll-ups. So press down through your heels on your inhale, squeeze your glutes, tuck your pelvis, roll everything up. Keep squeezing through that backside, stretch through the front of your hips, draw those ribs in, keep the transverse abdominis, that corset muscle engaged, and then exhale, roll it right back down, one vertebrae at a time. Tuck the pelvis, roll it back up. Do a few of these on your own breath, inhaling and exhaling, up and down. I've heard the visual before, like your spine is like a string of pearls and you're slowly lifting each pearl one by one off of the mat and then gently setting it back down on the mat, one pearl at a time. So visualize that as you rise up and then as you exhale and come back down. The next time we rise back up, press into those heels, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, lift it up. This time, grab the outer edges of your mat with your hands, and then almost like you're trying to rip your mat in half. This time we can open through the chest. The ribs will come up slightly. Pull that mat apart, press the backs of the arms into the mat, open through the chest slightly. Keep squeezing the glutes, keep all of that engaged, keep pressing through the heels. And then exhale, lower it back down. Does your backside feel a little more energized? Mine certainly does. Hug those knees in towards your chest. If you like to rock and roll, take a few of those here. Otherwise, roll onto your right side. You can come up to sit. If you're taking those rock and rolls, hug onto those knees. Just come back to the tops of the shoulders. And as you roll, notice if you tend to go to one side or the other. See if you can keep it even down the middle of your back. We'll come up to a seated position. Place your hands in front and we'll just step back into our downward facing dog. Now our first one here, we'll probably have some super bent knees. Heels will be lifting up. Walk out your dog. Slowly lower one heel and then the other. Press your palms into the mat. Push it away. Relax through your neck. Lift your sit bones up high. Take one more breath. And then we'll step the right knee forward about halfway to our hands, come down onto the left knee, and we'll take a 90-90 lunge. So as you guessed it, you've got a 90-degree bend in your knees and in that right hip. Push the hips forward and back a little bit. You might come forward over the ankle. So working a little bit here on ankle mobility, working to open that left hip. And then we'll keep it steady here in our 90-90 lunge. Keep your right hand on your right hip. Reach your left arm up and overhead and then side bend towards the right. Maybe even back slightly as you keep squeezing this left glute and opening through the front of the left hip. Take one breath here in your side bend. On your exhale, reach this left hand forward and down next to the right foot. You can slide a block underneath it if you need to. Open your right arm up into a twist. Hug your inner thighs in towards one another. On your exhale, right hand can come down onto block or the mat. We'll slide the right knee back to meet the left. Move both props out of the way, hands down on the mat. We're in a tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's go through a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your seat up, chest reaches forward. Exhale, tuck your pelvis, push the mat away, round your spine, tuck your chin. A few more rounds, inhaling through your cow. Drawing those shoulder blades towards one another. Exhale through cat. Shoulder blades pull away from the spine. Continuing to breathe. Next time you come back towards that neutral spine, walk your hands forward slightly, tuck your toes, lift your hips back up into your downward facing dog. Push that mat away. Maybe walk out your heels one more time. And then we'll step that left foot forward about halfway, come onto the right knee, 90-90 lunge here on the left. You can always slide a blanket under this back knee if that's too much pressure on the floor. Take those little rocks forward and back. You can have your hands on your blocks here. If you don't like them on your hips, that's always an option. Use those props. Next time you come back to center, keep your left hand on your hip. Open your right arm up overhead. Side bend towards the left. Maybe back a little bit. Squeeze your right glute. Hold it here. Breathe in. And breathe out. Right hand can come forward and down on block or the mat. Open that left arm up into your twist. Try to revolve your chest towards the left, even up towards the ceiling. Exhale, that left hand will come down. You can have your hands on your blocks here or the mat. Slide the left knee back. We're back in tabletop. Move your blocks over if you were using them. And we'll take a gentle lower through puppy stretch here. We'll try it on both sides. So reach your right arm forward, long on the mat. Place your left forearm down, parallel to the top of your mat. Keep your seat lifting up high, your sit bones widening. And then as you exhale, try to lower your chest down towards the mat. Should feel a stretch here, probably going up underneath your armpits, your shoulders, your chest. Take one more breath. Can slide your right hand back, carefully press yourself up, and we'll switch sides. So left hand reaches forward. We've got that right forearm down on the mat. Exhale, lower your chest down. You might notice a difference with your shoulders here too. I certainly do. I've got one shoulder that's a lot tighter than the other. I kind of like you can take the stretch with both arms, reaching out in front, but when you take it one at a time, you can really feel kind of where you need to stretch each individual side. Final breath here. You can slide that left hand back. We'll press up, walk your hands back forward, curl those toes. We'll take one more downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg up behind you, bend your knee, take some hip circles. Doesn't matter which way you go, kind of like we did on our back, just circling the knee out and around. Do about 2 going in each direction. And then we'll bring that right knee forward towards the front of the mat. If you need to take little steps to get there or use your hands, you can. We'll plant the right foot. We'll inhale up into a high crescent lunge. So we have some space between our legs here. It's like on railroad tracks in parallel. Arms are reaching up, framing our ears. And we'll open here into a warrior 2. So we'll start to turn to the left side of our mat. We'll spin this left heel down. The right toes will keep pointing forward. And if you need to adjust your stance, I know I do, need to widen it a little bit. You'll have your right heel lining up with your left inner arch and your shoulders stacked over your hips. Reach your arms out in opposite directions. Next, inhale, flip your front palm to face the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. So stretch your right hand up overhead. This left hand just slides gently down that back leg. Stretch your right side. On your exhale, reach that right arm forward. Place your right forearm on your thigh. Sweep that left arm up and overhead into your side angle. So we'll flow back and forth here a few times through reverse warrior and side angle. Your lower body will really stay the same. We'll just be inhaling and reaching the right arm up. And then exhaling, right forearm down to the thigh, left arm up and overhead. In this extended side angle, open your chest, just like we did in the side bend at the beginning. Open your chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale. And exhale. This is an energizing movement for me. When we flow like this, it brings energy through our body. We'll come back up to that warrior 2. So arms reach out opposite directions. Straighten your front leg. Maybe heel toe that back foot in a little bit. We'll take triangle pose. So you can place your block on the outside of your right ankle. Reach those arms out just like we did in warrior 2. Start to hinge at your right hip as you fold forward, reaching with this right arm, keeping length in your side bodies. And then placing the right hand down on block, shin, if you can get it to the mat. Open that left arm up and overhead. Picture your side bodies just lengthening each side. And then from here, we'll cartwheel this left hand towards the front of the mat and spin onto our back toes as we bend our right knee. So we'll face forward. You can move your block out of the way, and then we'll just step this right foot back into our downward facing dog. Any little wiggles here that feel good. Inhale and lift your left leg, bend your left knee, take those hip circles on the left, and check in with your shoulders. Try to keep them as square as you can to the top of the mat. Sometimes that's kind of hard in these hip opening circles. We'll start to bring the left knee forward, tiptoeing, using our hand if we need to. We'll inhale up into that high crescent lunge. In your high crescent lunge, you could have a straight back leg. If it feels better to have a little bend, that's all good too. Just try to keep energy in that back leg, whichever way it is, energy out through that back heel. And then this is where we'll spin open and kind of land in our warrior two. So we'll open towards the right, open your hands, spin that back heel down, and then maybe adjust your stance just a little bit. Have your left heel close to lining up with that right inner arch. Bending that left knee, checking in with that knee. Try to keep it tracking towards the middle of the toes. Inhale and flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior, stretch your left side. And then on your exhale, just like we did before on the other side, extended side angle. Right arm sweeps overhead. And then flow here, inhaling it up through reverse warrior, and then exhaling it through your extended side angle. In this side angle, we want a long line going all the way up the right side of the body. Connect your breath with that movement. That gives us energy as well. Inhaling and exhaling, remembering to breathe, breathing deeply and fully. Next, inhale, come back up to your warrior two, straighten your front leg, heel toe that back foot in a little bit. Place your block to the outside of that left ankle or foot. Hinge at your left hip, reach, reach, reach. Left hand comes down, right hand comes up. Work to stack your shoulders, getting a long line up your arms. Open your chest. If you're noticing that you're reaching really far forward with your chest like it's facing down towards the mat, bring that left hand up even further. You could place it up higher on the leg. And then we'll cartwheel this right hand forward, bend your front knee, spin onto your back toes, place your hands down, step it back to that downward facing dog. Final wiggles here. And then we'll tiptoe our feet all the way to the top of the mat. Place them wide on your mat with your toes pointing out slightly, and we'll lower our hips into a malasana, a yogi squat. So lower your tailbone down towards the floor. You can place your upper arms on the inside of your thighs. If this low squat is not working for you, it never has to be that low. Whatever feels best. So this could be your malasana. Props can be our best friend here. Could have your seat on the props, still getting the same benefits of the pose. Wherever your squat is, take an inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up. Work to straighten your legs. They do not have to be straight. You can keep them bent. Just take a little forward fold. Release through your shoulders and your neck. Let's exhale those hips back down. Take an inhale. Exhale, hips reach up. Let's do one more. Back down through that yogi squat. This time we'll come back up for that forward fold. Heel toe your feet in slightly. So they're about hips distance, but now the toes are facing forward. Grab opposite elbows and take a ragdoll. You can have super bent knees here if that feels good. Just rock side to side over your legs. Maybe shake your head yes and no. Let it all go. Release your hands. We'll roll it up to stand. Stacking the spine. Head comes up last. Here at the top of our mat, we'll do a few balancing poses to close out our energizing class, adding energy and balance to your day. So here at the top of your mat, we'll stand, shift the weight into your left foot. We'll bring our right leg up into tree. So that could start with toes on the mat, could slide up anywhere on the inside of that left leg, or you could use your hands to help you get it up towards the inside of the left thigh. Wherever your foot is, if it's in the thigh, press thigh into foot, foot into thigh, but work on hugging in this left outer hip so we're not overcompensating there. We're hugging it all in. Hand can always be on the wall or a chair or a counter, wherever you are, something to hold on to. Hold your tree for a full breath in and out, rooting down through that standing foot. Release that right foot down. We'll bring it up in front of us into a stork. So 90-degree bend in the hip and the knee, just like we did in our lunge. Arms can reach up overhead, and we'll take this into a little twist. You can be at the wall here again. Left hand will come to the outside of the right knee. Right hand will reach behind us. Little standing twist here. And then we will release, shake out through that left ankle, and we'll take that all on the other side. So take your tree, go round down through the right foot, slide that left foot wherever your tree pose is. Hold it here for a breath or two. Find a point to focus on that's not moving. Our drishti is our focus point. Whenever we're balancing, you can release that left foot down. Come into your stork, left leg comes up, arms reach up overhead, twist towards the left. Maybe grab the outside of that leg with the right hand. Stay there for a breath. I'm staring at the floor, something that's not moving. And then release that foot down. Last thing we'll do here in class are just 3 arm sweeps up overhead. So standing at the top of your mat, feet hip distance apart. Inhale, sweep those arms down, around it up, palms touch. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. 2 more times. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Last one here. Sweep those arms. Gather all of that energy you've created in your body. Bring it down. Pause here at your heart. Rub those hands together. Feel that heat generating between your palms. And then exhale. Place your hands over your heart. Close down your eyes. Feel that warmth, that heat, that energy. Couple of deep breaths before you move on with your day. With this being an energizing flow, I won't do a full shavasana here. If you'd like to just walk on and go about your day here from your standing position, you may go for it. If you'd like to come down onto the mat and take a shavasana, that's also an option. Do what feels best for you in the moment. I hope that this class has given you a little bit of energy. Have a wonderful day.